Hello everyone and welcome back to another Marvel Crisis Protocol Battle Report. Today for you we have 19 threat of the Black Order with Thanos against the Guardians of the Galaxy. So we did already see Thanos in the Ultimate Encounter. This is him toned down, not unstoppable, but still pretty threatening and also very expensive threat-wise. So we are set up for the missions we'll be playing today. You can obviously probably see the icons for them, but we'll cover it properly in a second once we take a look at the teams. So here we have the Black Order being led by Thanos, who is equipped with the Reality Gem, so you can count one skull as a crit instead. Then we have Corvus Glaive, we have Ebony Maw, and we have Proxima Midnight, and their Team Tactics cards are down here because of lack of room. We have Power of the Cosmos, Mothership, Blood to Spare, and Price of Failure. And behold your etceteras. 6 models versus 4 with the Guardians team with 19 threat in play. No Infinity Stones on this side though. So Star-Lord is leading the team, then we also have Drax, we have Ronan the Accuser, we have Gamora, and then we have Groot and Rocket Raccoon. And their tactics cards: Crew of the Milano, the shine is a little awkward there, Field Dressing, Deadly Duel, We Are Groot, and Brace for Impact. So yet to be set up for deployment, but these are the 2 missions. The extraction is Panic Grip City as evacuation efforts continue, and this is the threat value being played. With the secure being the Gamma Waves sweeping across the Midwest, so the 3 Gamma Shelters in the centre and in each deployment. Capturing the ones furthest away from where you start gives more points. And 4 civilians kind of on the corners. 1, 2, 3, and 4. For every civilian held by one of your team, you get 1 victory point. If you're willing to spend 6 power, you can send them away from the map forever and get 2 victory points. So you remove an objective from play but score an extra point. It's good to do if you think you're going to drop an objective. And yeah, that covers everything. So now we're going to see who's deploying on which side and who will be going first. So both sides are set up and ready to go. It will be the Black Order taking first activation as we go into Battle Round 1, but let's see where they're deployed. We've got Ronan off on his lonesome. He doesn't care, he doesn't like the Guardians that much. Star-Lord up on the building because he has Fly. And then over this side we've got Groot, Rocket, Gamora and Drax. And then facing them down we've got Corvus a little bit off by himself. We've got Ebony Maw and Thanos next to themselves. And all the way over there we have Proxima Midnight hidden behind the building. So that covers everything. We are ready to jump in and get this started, although I will quickly say, please do remember to subscribe rather, and show your support if you want to see more videos in the future. It greatly helps out. Thank you for that in advance. Let's get things started. This is always a very bloody one in the middle, so I'm looking forward to it. So Corvus got things started for the Black Order and made the most of his overly large base. He moved medium to get just within 1 of the civvy that was there, spent 1 power to pick it up, and then moved medium again to just be within 1. Like it's questionable, but that is just within 1. You only have to be within 2 to not get damaged at the end of a turn, but you have to be within 1 to be claiming it. So he put himself out in the middle of the map straight away. Let's see how the Guardians respond. Star-Lord was first up for the Guardians and he jumped off of the XXX barge so that he's claiming the Gamma Shelter there. He fired his basic zero-cost element guns attack at Corvus and rolled ridiculously well for his initial roll. It's only 5 energy attack, it had 1 crit and all hits. Oh, there was a wild in there as well actually, which I think might do a stats effect. Double check that in a second. Either way, Corvus took 5 damage, reduced to 4 for his roll, whichever. The roll that he shares with basically all the Black Order except Ebony Maw. So yeah, he is really hurt. That was an amazing roll, and he might also have a stats effect when we come back. So Ebony Maw was the next activate, and he just did a move to the far side of the closest shelter to claim it. His maximum range is 4, so he's not even able to reach Star-Lord from where he is. The fight would have to be roughly in the middle for him to start being able to reach with his mind bullets. But he's in a good position to hold that and do that, so there is that. Now over to one of the many Guardians left to activate. Sticking over this end of the table, it was Ronan the Accuser who activated, and he walked over here to the car, picked up the civvy who was trapped under it, and then just moved medium again to there. He is not within range of any of the shelters though, so he will take damage from the Gamma Waves at the end of the turn, but he's holding a civvy. He's here to help. I guess that's slightly less scary than one of the Black Order turning up and grabbing you, being like, hey, I'm here to save you. But anyway, it's over to either Thanos or Proxima. Bit of an awkward angle for this one, apologies, but Proxima did activate. She did a move, she spent 1 power to pick up the civvy that was over in this general area. She moved again for her second action. Now she is not claiming the Gamma Shelter that Ebony Maw is next to, however she is safe. because she is just within 2, so the gamma waves will not affect her, but she isn't contributing to holding it as an objective. So, there's still 4 Guardians, and then it's only Thanos. I think we're going to see a lot of activations for one side going together. We could have passed, but given that it's the first round, and you know how the first round of these matches tend to go, didn't really seem important. Oh, before we cover the next activation, a small correction. Proxima moves long. Had it in my head that everyone on the Black Order side moved medium. She moves long. It doesn't make any difference because she's still just going to secure this, but she is actually close enough now to be securing it. So the next up was Groot. He just moves small. He moved. He is helping Star-Lord secure this, and he's paving the way for Rocket to hide behind him and shoot all the guns. And so the big man himself, Thanos, activated. He did a move for his first action over to where you can see him, moves medium. Then he sunk his 2 power, he gets 2 because he has the Reality Stone, into buffing up a Cosmic Blast, making it from 5 to 7 dice. Basically the same as the attack he had in the Ultimate Encounter. On Ronan the Accuser, it did 4 damage, which is pretty good. And as a result, Ronan spent 2 of the power generated by that attack to render Judgment on Thanos, so he has the Judgment special condition. So if you aren't aware what that does, what it means is Thanos can't gain power from being damaged by enemy attacks, which is pretty nasty, although he is still getting 2 a turn. And the Reality Stone did come into effect there. You count a skull as a crit instead. So it's pretty good. I think Ronan has 6 HP on his healthy side, so he's pretty hurt. So almost as bad as Corvus got hurt. But now Drax, Gamora and Rocket just get to do whatever they want from over here to end off the turn. So here are the results of the last 3 activations for Battle Round 1. Rocket moved in behind his bodyguard, of course, and shot at Corvus, managed to do 1 more damage. Corvus is on 1 HP remaining on his healthy side. Optimal amount to have for the Guardians, at least going into a new turn. Gamora moved long twice to contest the middle objective so that Corvus can't score it. Drax moved medium to grab the civvy there, and spent a power to do it, and then moved there. He is just within 2 as well to be protected by that shelter, but he's not helping to secure it. So that does take us to the scoring for Battle Round 1. So it's all even as we go into Battle Round 2. Both sides have the Gamma shelter closest to their deployment for 1 victory point each. The middle is contested between Gamora and Corvus, as previously stated. And in terms of people damaged, only Ronan the Accuser is getting damaged by the Gamma waves that sweeps across the map at the end of the turn, so he's taken 1 damage. And both teams have 2 civvies on their personage. No one has enough to send them off the table. So it's even with 3 victory points each as we go into Battle Round 2, and the Black Order gets to go first again. So as we get started with Battle Round 2, Corvus activated, and he had a very confusing turn where there's a lot of mechanics getting mixed together. And we're not 100% sure the order of operations here. So we're going to go through it as it happened and see if this is correct. So he was here. His first action was to do a death blow, which is range 3, so he could reach Ronan. He did a death blow. He got a wild. Now, death blow does 2 things. If you get a wild, it says you may do a strike attack after this attack is resolved. Death blow just by itself also lets you advance medium after the attack is resolved. So he attacked. Ronan went down. He only needed 2 damage. He took 4. He went down, so he's dazed. But the wild meant that a strike could still happen, and it doesn't specify it has to be on the same target. So presumably it is okay that he then resolved the strike that he's allowed to do on Gamora, which hit her for 4 damage, leaving her on 1. Then he did the medium move resolve from the death blow, which has put him there. But the other problem is that Ronan was holding a civilian. At what point, after selecting where it gets put down, would Corvus have been allowed to spend 1 power to pick it up? Because the actions kind of flowed. Like the strike action happens immediately after the death blow, or it happens as part of it because it says once it's resolved, but then also you get to move when it's resolved. From where he is, he can't pick it up. So it's a little confusing. In what order do you do that when there's multiple resolve at end of action actions? And when do you factor in picking up objectives? The way we're going to play it is that it's been placed, so I'll measure properly because I was holding it in my hand, but we're going to measure it so it's like 2 away from Ronan there, and that Corvus can't pick it up because he moved as part of the attack that has ended now. If that's incorrect, apologies. That's very, very confusing. It's the first time I've had something come up like that because of the the wild being rolled, activating 2 end of action results, which then also involves going back to the original action. Very confusing. Not sure, open to input, but that's how it's being played. Apologies if that was incorrect, but it was very confusing. Oh, I'm sorry, but we're not done, because it actually got more confusing because of the accuser role on Ronin, where if he would be dazed or KO'd, he can make a small move towards whoever did it and then unleash an attack. So he moved small towards Corvus. He spent power on Kree Justice, although he whiffed massively. He only got 2 single hits, which Corvus blocked. So it didn't do anything. But does that... well, it wouldn't have mattered if he could pick up the civvy, I suppose, because he's dazed still. But that further confuses the point at which it happens, because it's after the attack that causes the KO is resolved, which is before the strike was done on Gamora. My head hurts. Gamora activated and moved long to snatch the civilian that Ronin dropped when he fell unconscious. She then moved long again to get over there. She's not securing this, but it's surrendered enough that who cares. She's within 2, so the Gamma won't take away that last HP, although someone else might. She's trying to stay safe. She's there. Also, just so we're clear, the Black Order affiliation bonus that Thanos imparts did not do anything when Ronin was dazed. It specifically says KO, which is this game's version of death, so Ronin would have to die on his flip side for it to score 1 victory point. And if Thanos flips his card, the affiliation bonus changes to something else that we'll cover again at the time. Ebony Maw activated and moved up to claim and secure the central Gamma shelter, and then for his other action, range 4, used Black Tongue on Gamora to whisper in her ear and did 1 damage, which was enough to daze her, so that civvy should probably be a little bit there. The civvy has been dropped, but not close enough for Ebony to pick it up. It's on the ground as another character dazed, so now it's over to one of these 4 to take the next turn. Star-Lord activated and he moved forwards to snatch that same civilian that's getting tossed around, and then he moved back to be securing and safe in the Gamma shelter at the back there, just to hold on to the civvy. He did have enough power to send the civvy to safety, but given that he's at full health, it seemed like a waste of potential points if he holds on a little bit longer. So that was it. Now it's over to Corvus. It's now over to Proxima or Thanos. Thanos activated and he moved up to help secure the middle Gamma shelter, and then used his other action to shake the judgment stats effect that Ronin had given him. So he didn't do anything this turn, but he is in prime position to do so next turn if the surviving Guardians can't do anything about it. So Groot, Rocket and Drax. Drax activated next and he wanted a little bit of the Mad Titan because such is his character, so he moved in and got within 2, so he's safe with the Gamma shelter, but he's not trying to claim it, he's not within 1. He did his basic free attack on Thanos. It would have done 3 damage. Thanos rolled 2 defense on his block. Would have been 1 damage, but he has the roll he does on the ultimate encounter where any damage he takes is reduced by 1, and it doesn't say to a minimum of 1, so he took no damage from that. So now it's over to Proxima unless she opts to pass to end off the turn for the Black Order, then back over to Rocket and Groot. So we're actually ready to cover the last 3 activations of Battle Round 2. Proxima just shuffled slightly, she's still within 1 to be claiming this back objective. Groot moved and attacked Thanos and did not get through his defences. The 1 damage taken away stopped any damage being done at all. Rocket, from where he's standing, stayed there and shot his plasma gun twice. Did really well with his rolls. First attack did 3 down to 2, second attack did 4 down to 3, so Thanos has 5 damage on him. He's got 8 health on his healthy side, so he is hurt, but he does have a lot of power to play with now as well. So now we're into the scoring. So at the end of Battle Round 2, the Black Order pulled ahead slightly thanks to them claiming the middle Gamma shelter for 2. They have their own for 1. The Guardians just hold their own Gamma shelter for 1. And then both sides still have 2 civilians thanks to Star-Lord snatching the one that was changing hands and backing away. So they're 2 points ahead, the Black Order, or 1 point, I've forgotten now. 2 points. 2 points ahead. They're still getting first activation as we go into Battle Round 3 as well, and everybody except Ronin, but he was flipping his card over, was safely within distance of a Gamma shelter, so no damage from that either. So the first activation for Battle Round 3 was Thanos, and we're not done with him yet, but it's going to be a long activation of a lot of stuff happening, so we're going to break this into 2 clips. His first thing he did, stayed exactly where he was, hasn't done any actions, played a team tactic card. He played Power of the Cosmos, one of Thanos' unique ones that comes in his box. So this is Power of the Cosmos. It's an A1, but the range gets increased by 1 per Infinity Stone he has, so he has 1, so it's actually A2, so it's Aura Blast around him size 2. 6 energy, 0 cost. He spends 4 to play it, and any enemy character, and it does specify enemy character that successfully is hit by this, damaged by this attack rather, is pushed away from him by the small distance marker. So because Ebony Maw is an ally character, he just takes 1 damage by default. Ronan blocked it, so he didn't get damaged, so he was not pushed. Groot got pushed and took 3 damage. Drax got pushed and took 4 damage. Now again, that was a Team Tactics card, one of his uniques, and he hasn't done anything else yet. So now we're... oh no, so as a result Drax put his Vengeance token on, although that must count as an attack, right? It does say active, it doesn't say attack. I need to double check the wording for Drax's Vengeance, see if it should be on him right now, but anyway, now he's going to take his proper turn. So for Thanos' actual turn, he swiveled on the spot and did a basic strike into the back of Ronan's skull for 2 damage. Ronan did end up over here. He then channeled 3 power into a full power Cosmic Blast, 8 dice, which got a wild, which means that Ronan was pushed away small and received the slow condition. However, didn't do any extra damage. So Ronan took 2 damage, Thanos stayed where he was, and also he spent 2 power to have Judgment rendered onto Thanos again, so he can't generate power from being damaged. And that's it. He had a very effective turn. Now over to the Guardian's first turn for Battle Round 3. So that was another complicated turn. Ronan the Accuser activated and he moved small because of slow to where you can see him right here. He did a basic attack on Corvus, which also can push away before damage is dealt, so he did get pushed, so he's not securing the gamma. It only did 1 damage, that was enough, so Corvus is dazed, but that also meant that he could play Blood to Spare. So this one is reactive. When a Black Order character would be dazed by an enemy, it may spend 3 to play this card. It immediately performs an attack before getting dazed. If it results in the character removing damage, it's not dazed. He is still dazing, he didn't heal himself. He did however do a death blow with a wild, so he got to do the strike as well. So the death blow only did 2 damage, the strike did 2 damage. That is enough with the 2 damage already on him to kill poor Ronan. He tried his best and he didn't succeed, and because Thanos is still on his healthy side, that awards 1 victory point to the Black Order. Ebony Maw was the next to activate. His first proper activation was just to move slightly so things were within range. Then his superpower, he activated Mind Over Matter, I think it's called, to pick up the car behind poor Groot and throw it at the back of his wooden head for 2 damage. He did pretty well with his dodge roll. Then his actual action, he did Herald of Doom for 3 power on Drax. It only did 1 damage, but it did also result in a throw, so he opted to throw Drax away rather than into one of the other ones, so that he's going to have to waste one of his actions moving. And because he did do damage with an attack, Ebony Maw now has the Vengeance token. Groot was next to activate, and he moved back towards this gamma shelter over here and paid to cast the We Are Groot. I say cast like it's a magic spell. Either way, We Are Groot. Active, Groot may spend 3 power to play this card. Groot and allied characters within 4 remove 2 damage. So he removed 2 damage, Drax removed 2 damage, ignore that one that's still there. And then he also used his Synthesis, I think it's called, to heal himself for a further 3 because he couldn't reach anybody with his range 2 attacks. So for Proxima's turn, she just activated and unactivated. She has nothing to do, she's holding the back shelter. Now I should mention, I didn't cover that obviously Ronan dropped the civilian he was holding when he died. Or maybe Corvus dropped it when he was dazed, I forgot. No, Corvus dropped it when he was dazed, sorry. The reason Proxima hasn't picked it up is she's already holding a civilian and you can only hold 1, and she doesn't have the power to send it away and then grab that one. She's only got, I think, 3 power. So that's why she hasn't done that. It's just sitting there for Corvus to pick up when he wakes up next turn. So that's it for the Black Order, thanks to Corvus not getting a turn. So now Gamora, Rocket, Star-Lord and Drax all get to do their turns. So the first of that bunch to activate was Rocket Raccoon, and he made use of Deadly Duel, which is if he's within 2 of Groot, they both spend 2 to play it. Rocket can do up to 3 plasma attacks, which is basic 5 energy, 0 cost attack, but each one has to target a different character. So he did it, 1 on Maw, 1 on Thanos. Maw used his ability where he can spend 2 power and change his defense to using his Mystic, which is 6. He took nothing from that. Thanos did take 1 damage. So then for his actual activation, he just shot 2 more plasma rounds into Thanos to try and take him down to get him off his healthy side. Both did not get through his defense. Not a good turn there for Rocket, especially with the burning of a Team Tactics card. So next, Gamora tried her hand. She did a move into base to base with her father, adopted father, and attacked him. She didn't get any damage. Well, technically she did get 1 damage through, but his passive brings it down to 0. She was unable to hurt him. Have been remembering incidentally that yes, Thanos still has Judgment on him. Presumably it does not disappear just because Ronan the Accuser is gone, so he has not been generating any power from when Rocket attacked him. So now it's over to Star-Lord or Drax. So just to cover those last 2 activations, Star-Lord moved forward so that he could shoot his guns at Thanos, his element guns. He went full auto with them. Did no damage, but did get a wild, and that means he gets to pick one of a few different stats effects to inflict upon him. And bleed was inflicted upon Thanos. Was that just so I could say all that for a drop of blood? Yes. Yes, it was. Drax, because he got pushed back, he just had the double move. He is safely within 2, but he is not contesting in terms of like securing the middle shelter. He just won't take any gamma damage. And with that, we're actually at the end of the turn. So as we get ready to go into battle round 4, here's how things stand score-wise. The Guardians pulled ahead in terms of civilians being held. They have 2, playing 1 for the Black Order. So 2 victory points versus 1 victory point. They hold their own gamma shelter for 1 victory point, however the Black Order hold the middle and their own for 1, 2, 3. And that puts them comfortably in the lead still. I think they're leading by 4 now and 3 away from the minimum required. Corvus has flipped over from his to his day's side, so he is at risk of death, but he's also able now to go grab that other civvy that's on the floor, and it is the Black Order going first as we go into the turn. So he may not be quite as scary as he is in the Ultimate Encounter, but he's still pretty scary. Thanos activated, he stayed where he was, he spent a total of 6 power on 2 overloaded Cosmic Blasts, so they turned from 5 to 8 dice. He did the first one on Gamora into her face. It did whopping 9 damage. She is dead, and that gives them 1 victory point, so they're 2 away from the amount required to win. Then he did the other one on Drax for 4 damage. That was enough, more than enough. Oh wait, no, that was exactly enough actually, to daze Drax, and Drax's civilian has been dropped there. Thanos did not heal his bleed, so he took 1 damage. The Vengeance token also moved to him, so he is 1 hit away from dazing, but I think he's done enough. So Groot was next up. He moved small to where you can see him, and even though you're not supposed to because he's dangling ever so slightly, it's so like close to the ground, I don't care. I'm allowing it. So anyway, he's there, and he spent 4 on field dressing, somewhat ironically because it's Drax being healed by the card in the picture. Spend within 2 of a day's character, spend 4, remove the daze token and 1 damage from them. So Drax is back on his feet, he may yet get a turn. Then Groot smacked Ebony Maw, did 2 damage, and then, oh, he has also picked up the civvy for 1 power. That was the civvy that Drax dropped, but it's on Groot now. Groot's more likely to survive. Ebony Maw activated and first of all did a Herald of Doom on Drax just to make sure he re-knocked him out. Poor old Drax, 4 damage. He's back to being dazed and will not be getting a turn. Then he just did his normal basic attack, range 5, on Rocket, who was too far away to get bodyguarded. Only did 2 damage though. He has automatic 1 success for cover as well, or counts as being in cover. Either way, he's not going down. So now it's over to either Star-Lord or Rocket. I don't think there's any way they can stop the Black Order now, but they might take some of them down with them. Star-Lord activated and just wanted to daze Thanos. Had to... oh no, he only had 1 health, so he did not have to shoot at him twice, so he could technically shoot at Maw once. But he did manage to do the 1 damage required, so Thanos, get all these out of here. He is dazed, these would go as well. He is dazed, he would flip his card over. That does mean that Maw is the only one holding this objective, because I don't think... yeah, the other 2 aren't within 1. You know what, well since he only shot once, I wonder if he could move to get within 1 of it. We'll see in a second. I don't know if anything else matters after that. It was just again out of spite, but let's quickly do some turns and see. So with his other shot that he should have got against someone else, not Thanos, because Thanos only had 1 HP left, he shot at Maw and did 3 damage, and not enough to daze Maw, but enough to give Star-Lord enough power to spend 6 to send the civilian he was holding away for 2 victory points rather than the 1 he would just get at the end of the turn. So he has just scored the 2, but there is no other way to stop the Black Order from winning, because Corvus, who was going to activate next, was just going to secure this, spend a power to pick up that civvy, and that right there is more than enough to hit the score cap. So yes, Rocket might be able to take out Maw to deny them 2 points. I guess we might as well do that to see real quick if we can, because Maw's got, what, 2 HP left I think? Something like that. Let's see if he can do it. So Rocket fired his Hadron Collider gun at Maw and did actually manage, despite Maw giving himself 6 defense dice, to do 3 damage, which is enough to daze him. Now you can't end on where a dazed character is, presumably, so Rocket couldn't just move medium directly to be securing this, so he had to go round Groot, which he's close enough to be safe, but he's not close enough to claim it. Knocked Groot off slightly, so I think I put him back a bit too close, but hey, we can see the Guardians have that one and just go into the end phase because this is over. So as things stand at the end of what is going to be the final battle round, remember Star-Lord sent the civilian he was holding away for 2 victory points. We're going to see the Guardians claim this middle one just because there's not going to be another turn for 2 victory points, plus they hold their own for 3, so that's a total of 4. The Black Order hold their own Gamma Shelter for 1. They generated a kill point during the turn, and Corvus and Proxima both have their civilians at the end for another 2 victory points, which takes them beyond the 16 score cap. It puts them at 17. The Guardians close the gap right at the end there. If you count them as being holding that middle one, it puts them at 14. If you don't count it, then it puts them at 12. So that was another fun Marvel Crisis Protocol battle report. Thanos still felt very threatening, very powerful, very imposing, despite not being the Ultimate Encounter version of him. It was fun seeing the Guardians take him on. He didn't even get to do Death's Decree at any point, which is where he buffs up a teammate's attack just because of the missions and him being a little separated. The downside to the Black Order is you can never have all of them. You can't have Thanos with Black Dwarf and Ebony and Corvus and Proxima, which is a shame. Unless you do the Ultimate Encounter and it goes the distance, I suppose. But in terms of like normal matches, you can't do that, and they're always going to be limited by low numbers. 4, I think, is the max you'll manage, even if you don't take Infinity Stones. So you're always most likely going to be running less than the opponent, which does mean you'll get first activation. You can do the double activate with Proxima and Corvus if you wanted to. If we didn't have Gamma Shelters, if it was something else like the Infinity Serums, like in the 5 or 4 sections, if you had to split them up even more, which most of the objectives would, they wouldn't be as potent. But again, with Gamma Shelters, you can all just kind of stand in the middle, and then whichever side gets luck here with their dice rolls and crits and such, they do the best, and that's what we saw here today. So anyway, that was fun. I hope you enjoyed. Please do remember to show your support, as I said earlier, and we'll see you in the future for more. Until then, ta-ta for now.